There are roughly 40 trillion cells in your body right now. That's 40 trillion opportunities. 40 trillion pieces of energy that respond not to your words, not to your wishes, but to your beliefs. Your true beliefs. And until you get every single one of those 40 trillion cells aligned with the vision of the life you desire, nothing changes. That's not magic. That's not myth. That's physics. That's focus. That's energy. And today, we're going to talk about how to harness that energy. Today, we talk about the law of attraction, not the sugar-coated version you might have seen in a viral clip or in a feel-good film. No, we're going deeper than that. We're going into the structure of thought, the language of vibration, the blueprint of belief. We're going to break down exactly how you attract the things that shape your life, whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. Now, if you're someone who leans into spirituality, someone who believes in energy, vibration, frequency, this will speak to you. But even if you're the skeptic, the analytical thinker, someone who needs science, logic, and proof before belief, stay with me. Because this isn't about choosing sides. This is about unlocking truth. And truth isn't limited by belief. It exists whether you recognize it or not. The law of attraction is not some whimsical wish-granting system. It's not about hoping. It's not about daydreaming. It's about aligning. Aligning your thoughts, emotions, actions, and energy to such a level of certainty that the universe has no choice but to respond. I've used this principle for nearly 2 decades, not just as an idea, but as a way of being. And what I can tell you, without hesitation, is that it works. It always works. The question is, are you working it the right way? The problem is, most people are using the law of attraction backwards. They're attracting by default. They're locked into survival thoughts, worry, fear, doubt, and then wonder why those things keep showing up. It's not because the world is broken. It's because their focus is. The law of attraction, at its simplest, says, what you dwell on expands. What you speak, you become. What you expect, you create. What you believe at the deepest level of your subconscious is what you live. So let me break this down for you in a way that's real. If your mind is holding even the smallest seed of doubt, of hesitation, of fear, then that seed is being nurtured by your thoughts every day. It becomes your signal. It becomes your frequency. It becomes your reality. Your body is not separate from your mind. Your cells are not passive. They are listening. And the voice they're tuned into, it's the one in your head, not the one you use to speak to the world, but the one you use to speak to yourself. Your thoughts are the command center. And most people don't realize that their inner voice is focused not on what they want, but on what they're afraid of. So they attract more fear, more lack, more of what they were hoping to avoid. Then they get frustrated. They say, I tried manifestation, and it didn't work. But they didn't really try it. They doubted it. They hoped it would work, but they didn't believe. They didn't embody it. All 40 trillion cells weren't aligned. They were scattered, split between vision and fear. Let me tell you something personal. When I first moved to Austin, Texas, I had just come back from traveling through Europe. I had saved everything I had, taken a leap of faith, followed my vision. But after a few months of trying to build a life in a new city, I was running out of money. 2 months left, and no income. My mom called and asked, "Aren't you worried?" I said no. Not because I was naive, but because I knew. I knew worrying wouldn't create what I needed. It would destroy it. I wasn't focused on what I lacked. I was focused on what I was building, on who I was becoming. I told her, if I let worry in, I block what I'm calling in. And 2 days later, completely out of nowhere, I got a call. It was from HR, at a job I had the previous year. They told me there had been a payroll error, and they owed me $23,000. They wired it to me the same day. True story. And if it hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't believe it either. But this isn't about luck. This is alignment. This is clarity. This is the law of attraction in action. What you focus on becomes your reality. Not instantly, not magically, but inevitably. And this is where most people fall off. They expect results on their timeline. They treat the universe like a vending machine. Press a button, expect a result. But this isn't about pressing buttons. It's about becoming someone new, someone worthy of the reality you're calling in. And that requires consistency. That requires commitment. That requires controlling the only thing you truly can, your mind. So let's be real. Most people say they want something different, but they spend their entire day thinking about what's wrong, about what they lack, about what hasn't worked. And then they wonder why they keep getting the same life over and over. It's because you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. You attract what you believe. You attract what you embody. And if your beliefs are full of limitation, your life will be too. So how do you shift it? How do you take those 40 trillion cells and point them in the direction of wealth, of love, of power, of purpose? You start by tuning your inner voice to one frequency, and only one frequency, the life you are building, the person you are becoming. And you remove all doubt, because even the tiniest doubt sends static into the signal. And the universe does not respond to static dot. So whether you're someone who's deeply spiritual or someone who demands scientific explanation, the principle remains the same. Everything in this world is energy. And energy is always responding. To energy, you can't fake it. You can't just say affirmations and hope something happens. You have to believe them. You have to embody them. You have to become them. Because your energy doesn't lie. And the world responds, not to what you say, but to what you are. And when your mind and body are in harmony, when your conscious desires match your subconscious beliefs, when your thoughts match your actions, and your words match your feelings, then, and only then, does the world begin to shift. And that's where we're going next. So how do we bridge that gap between what we consciously want and what we subconsciously believe? It starts by understanding the two parts of your mind, the conscious and the subconscious. Your conscious mind is what you use to think, reason, analyze. It's the voice in your head right now saying, I get this, or maybe, I'm not sure yet. That's conscious thought. But here's the catch. Your conscious mind is only about 5% of your total mental activity. It's the tip of the iceberg. The real power, that lives below the surface. It's your subconscious. That's the part of your mind that stores every belief, every emotion, every pattern. It runs your body, your habits, your responses. And, most importantly, it doesn't think in logic. It thinks in patterns and repetition. Your subconscious doesn't argue. It doesn't question. It doesn't analyze. If you say, I'm broke, it believes you. If you say, I never find the right person, it believes you. If you say, I always screw things up, it takes that as truth. Not because it wants you to suffer, but because it's designed to follow orders. And the orders come from repetition, from the thoughts you feed it every single day. So if you've been telling yourself stories of lack, of limitation, of not being enough, those stories have taken root. And they've become your paradigm. A paradigm is more than just a belief. It's a lens, a filter. It's the frequency you operate on. It determines how you interpret the world, how you respond to challenges, and what you allow yourself to receive. You could want wealth. You could visualize abundance. But if your paradigm still sees money as evil, or yourself as undeserving, Your subconscious will sabotage every opportunity, and you won't even know it's happening, because 95% of your thoughts and behaviors are on autopilot. This is why so many people say, "I want to succeed," but they never move forward. It's why they start something new and somehow always go back to the same place. Their paradigm won't let them evolve. Their subconscious programming keeps pulling them back into the familiar, even if the familiar is pain, struggle, or mediocrity. Because the mind doesn't want what's good, it wants what's known. And until you reprogram that paradigm, you're just layering temporary changes on top of a broken foundation. So how do you rewrite the program? You start by understanding vibration. Everything in this universe vibrates. Your body, your thoughts, your emotions. Even this very moment, what you're hearing, what you're feeling, it's all energy in motion. When you're happy, when you're grateful, when you're inspired, your body releases chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. It vibrates higher. It sends out a frequency that's open, expansive, creative. But when you're afraid, when you're angry, when you're trapped in self-doubt, your body goes into stress response. Cortisol floods your system. Your muscles tighten. Your energy drops. This is not spiritual fluff. This is neuroscience. Your emotions are biochemical. And your cells are listening. Dr. Candace Pert, in her groundbreaking work, Molecules of Emotion, proved that your thoughts and emotions create chemical reactions that affect your entire body. Your thoughts literally shape your physiology. And those changes in physiology radiate beyond your skin. Your brain waves don't stay trapped in your skull. Machines like MIG scanners can measure your brain activity without even touching your body. That means your thoughts project into the field around you. They become your signal, your frequency, your energetic broadcast. And just like a radio station, whatever frequency you're tuned into, that's what you receive. That's what you attract. Ever meet someone and instantly feel uneasy, even if they haven't said a word? Or connect with someone so deeply, so instantly, it's like you've known them forever? That's not a coincidence. That's vibration. That's energy reading energy. It's called interference. When two vibrations clash, it's destructive interference. When they harmonize, it's constructive interference. And your life is a reflection of which one you're creating. When your thoughts are chaotic, fearful, or scattered, you create interference. Opportunities pass you by. People can't feel. Nothing clicks. But when your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned, you create harmony. You become magnetic. This is why the law of attraction is not just about thinking positive. It's not about pretending to be happy or chanting affirmations without belief. It's about becoming the frequency of what you want. When you do, you won't have to chase. You attract. You pull. You align. But you have to be honest with yourself. What are you really vibrating? What beliefs are really running your life? What station are you truly tuned into when it comes to money, to relationships, to health, to purpose? Because if you say, "I want wealth," but deep inside you believe that money is corrupt, or you're not worthy of success, you are sending mixed signals. And mixed signals bring mixed results. Let me put it to you this way. If you were raised hearing things like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "Rich people are selfish," those beliefs don't just disappear. They become part of your paradigm. And unless you consciously rewrite them, they'll keep running your life. So even if $1 million opportunity comes knocking, you'll sabotage it. You'll miss it. Or it just won't feel right, because it doesn't match your internal belief system. You're not attracting based on what you want. You're attracting based on what you believe is possible, what you believe you deserve, and what your subconscious feels safe receiving. And this is why changing your vibration starts with changing your beliefs. But belief alone isn't enough. That's the part that most people miss. The secret, the books, the quotes, they tell you to think positive, to visualize, to speak it into existence. And yes, all of that matters. But what they often leave out is the most important piece: action. You can't just meditate your dream life into existence. You have to move. You have to do. You have to step into the version of yourself who already has what you want. The last 6 letters of attraction are action. The law of attraction. Without action is just a wish. It's a fantasy. A man of your dreams, the woman of your dreams, the business, the breakthrough, the miracle. It's not going to show up at your door while you sit on the couch waiting. You have to meet the universe halfway. You have to program your mind while you move your feet. You have to feel it, believe it, and do something about it. Because action reinforces belief, and belief amplifies energy. Every time you take a step toward your vision, you prove to your subconscious that it's safe, that it's real, that this new paradigm isn't just an idea, it's your new identity. So the key is not to wait until you believe 100% before you move. The key is to move as if you already do, because action builds belief, and belief builds momentum, and momentum makes the impossible feel inevitable. Now, let's talk about the impact of environment and early programming. Because your paradigm wasn't built in a vacuum. The way you think about relationships, money, love, success, it all started somewhere. Maybe it was something your parents said. Maybe it was a moment in childhood. Maybe it was pain. Maybe it was fear. But whatever it was, it created a lens. And if you never challenge that lens, it becomes law in your mind. If you grew up watching dysfunctional relationships, you might believe love equals chaos. So when someone shows up who is kind, consistent, and grounded, it might feel off. Not because it is, but because it doesn't match your trauma dot, so you reject it. You say, there's no spark. But what you're really saying is, this doesn't activate the pain I've mistaken for love. That's how deep your paradigm runs. And the same is true for money. If you were raised to see wealth as dangerous, greedy, or unspiritual, you will unconsciously block it. You will repel it. You will hide from opportunities because your subconscious thinks it's protecting you. Not sabotaging you, protecting you. It doesn't want you to suffer. It wants you to stay safe. And safe is what's familiar, even if what's familiar is keeping you small. This is why awareness is the first step. You cannot change what you do not observe. You have to become the witness. You have to pause and ask, what do I really believe? Where did that come from? Is it even true? Because most of what we believe was never chosen, it was inherited. And it's time to stop living out someone else's programming and start choosing your own. You have the power to rewrite your frequency, to break the cycle, to choose a new identity, a new vibration, and a new life. But it doesn't start with the outside. It starts within. It starts with you. And in the next part, we're going to break down exactly how to reprogram your subconscious, how to install new beliefs, how to build momentum through action, and how to finally align every part of your being with the life that's waiting for you to claim it. So let's bring this home. You now understand your reality is not created by chance. It's not created by luck. It's created by repetition, by emotion, by belief, by the program that runs silently in the background of your mind. And the good news? Programs can be rewritten, paradigms can be replaced, and identities can be rebuilt. But you must make a decision, not a casual one, not a maybe one day kind of decision. A decision so real that your body feels it. A decision that sends a message through all 40 trillion cells of your being. This is who I am now. Because if even a single piece of you is still questioning, the signal gets scrambled. the frequency gets distorted. And what you attract is no longer what you want. It's a mixture of hope and doubt, belief and fear. You can't walk toward your future while dragging the weight of your past. You can't build a new identity on the foundation of an old one. So whatever stories you've been telling yourself about what you're capable of, what you're worthy of, what you've been through, or who you used to be, it's time to rewrite them. Not with fantasy, but with choice, with vision, with persistence. The subconscious doesn't care what's true, it only cares what's repeated. So repeat the truth until it becomes louder than the lies. Repeat the vision until it feels like memory. Repeat the identity until you no longer recognize the version of you that once settled for less. Here's how you do it. You start with intention. Every morning, you decide who you are becoming. You speak it. You write it. You feel it. You visualize it not just with your mind, but with your body. You close your eyes and see your future, and then you feel what it's like to be that person. And then you act like it. You live it. You show up, not as the version of you that's trying, but as the version of you that's already there. You become the frequency of what you desire. And over time, your mind rewires, your body aligns, your energy shifts, and your life begins to catch up. Repetition is the language of the subconscious. So make repetition your weapon. Affirm what you want, over and over. Not because you're desperate, but because you're certain. Write it on your mirror. Say it while you drive. Speak it into the silence of your morning and the quiet of your nights. But don't stop at words. Anchor it in action. Take even the smallest steps every day that match the vibration of who you want to be. Want wealth? Then stop speaking lack. Stop acting like you're broke. Start saving even if it's just $1. Start learning. Start creating. Want love? Then become love. Show up in your life with the openness, presence, and kindness you want to receive. Want success? Then move like someone who wins. Walk like it. Talk like it. Believe like it. And when doubt comes, because it will, you don't fight it. You notice it. You acknowledge it. And then you choose differently. You remind yourself. Doubt is a signal, not a stop sign. It's an echo from an old identity trying to survive. But you're not that person anymore. You are choosing a new frequency. You are choosing alignment. And alignment means harmony between your thoughts, your emotions, your words, and your actions. You can't think abundance, but speak in scarcity. You can't dream of love, but act in fear. You can't visualize success and then sabotage it when it gets close. Everything has to line up. That's when the law of attraction isn't just a concept, it becomes a force in your life. And yes, there will be moments you slip. That's part of the process. But don't confuse slipping with failure. This is a practice, a muscle, a rewiring. And every time you come back to your vision, every time you choose your future over your past, you strengthen the signal. You make the frequency more stable. And eventually, the new becomes the default. The paradigm shifts. And the things that once seemed impossible become inevitable. So if you've been stuck, if you've been trying to manifest, trying to attract, trying to create change, and wondering why it hasn't come yet, don't ask yourself, why isn't it working? Ask yourself, what frequency am I really on? Because you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. You attract what you believe. You attract what your subconscious is tuned into every single day. So tune in, lock in, embody the vision, and then take the action. Don't wait. Don't overthink. Don't hold back until you feel ready. Move now. Speak now. Act now, because your future isn't waiting for you. It's responding to you. This isn't magic. This is mastery. This is learning the language of energy. This is understanding that the universe is not out to get you or save you. It's reacting to you, reflecting you, mirroring you. And if you want a different reflection, you must change the source. Change your thoughts, change your words, change your vibration, change the station. Tune into wealth, tune into power, tune into peace, tune into the life you came here to live. Because that life, the one that excites you, scares you, challenges you, that life is real. It's waiting, not in the distance, but in your decision. And when all 40 trillion of your cells get behind, that decision, when your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, and your actions align, there is no force in the universe that can stop you. That is the law of attraction, not a hope, not a dream, a law. A law that obeys clarity, certainty, and action. So don't just wish, decide. Don't just visualize, move. Don't just speak, live. And when you do, you will look back at this moment and realize it wasn't just a video. It was the day you remembered who you really are. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, if you're ready to shift, to grow, to rise, then stay connected. Like the video, share it, subscribe, and leave a comment with the one belief. You're choosing to rewrite. Because this is a community of creators, of visionaries, of powerful souls tuning into a higher frequency. And this journey, it's just beginning.